Hey, James Eagleman at Eagleman Long Range Shooting School here in Whiteley, Michigan at the Legends Ranch, LongRangeLR.com, and of course Eagle Ballistics, my ballistic solver. I want to kind of talk about something that I got coming out of my book. I told you guys I'm getting ready to release a lot of my Eagleman wind reading technique to the general public. And the reason we don't use wind meters or wind devices as the primary is, first of all, in my 40 years of shooting long range, I have realized that wind changes in general every 3 to 6 seconds. And the reality is, by the time you get off of a wind meter, like a Kestrel, for instance, or a weather flow, and by the time you get on the firearm, the wind's already started to change. So not a lot, but enough to make a difference at longer shots. The other thing is, I like to read wind like I teach my students. The technique I developed years and years ago was basically to read the wind where the bullet lives, or in other words, where it's going to be at the highest apex or parabolic curve, where the wind's going to be affecting it the most. And I've heard the argument my whole military career and as a civilian that the wind at you matters the most, the wind at the target matters the most, and the all wind matters. The reality is, yes, all wind matters, but what can you read? Can you read the wind at the target? No, so why do I care, all right? So wind at you, let's just put this in perspective. Let's say that it's a 3-mile-an-hour wind coming from 9 o'clock at 1,000 yards, as you can see on the Eagle Ballistics app. That means we got a 3.1 minute wind hold, okay, 3.16. What a lot of folks don't realize is the bullet gets off the ground and gets to a higher elevation, the wind shear, the gradient increases in velocity. In general, a 3-mile-an-hour wind is going to end up somewhere probably around a 4.2-mile-an-hour wind, and I'm giving you generic facts at max ordnance. So if I'm shooting 1,000 yards, we got an 8-foot max ord, and our apex is 560 yards. So the bullet is going to have a heavier wind shear at that max ordnance. So the reality is that's almost a minute of difference with the exact same wind starting, and you can see the wind increased to about 4.2 mile an hour at max ord. And you're probably wondering how I figured that out, but here's the thing. If the bullet is leaving the barrel at a generic 3,000 feet per second, the wind at you is only going to be about 1/10 of the entire flight path of the bullet. So yes, it matters, and yes, it's going to get a push, but when a bullet hits that parabolic curve, that apex, it's going to be up there for almost 64% of the entire path of the bullet at 1,000 yards, which means not only is it getting heavier wind shear at that maximum ordnance, but the bullet has slowed down significantly to 19 to 1,700 feet per second. So it has a slower velocity, so the wind's going to affect it more, and it's getting wind gradient. So what I've learned to do over many, many years, 2 decades of shooting this and reading this wind, is read wind at maximum ordnance or the parabolic curve or apex. And that's what I teach my students. We're able to convert rain, mirage, and snow into a real relative number based on the Eagleman wind technique. And that's what I'm releasing in my book, but I really want to kind of talk about it. So, and I'm sure I'll hear all the arguments and comments, well, the wind, it use always this. You keep doing what you're doing. I'll do what I'm doing. Trust me, mine works. So reality check, same thing if I'm shooting into a valley. Let's say I'm shooting across a valley or into a valley. You have no clue what the valley winds are doing with the wind meter. With my technique, you can physically see the valley winds by reading mirage or rain at parabolic curve or basically apex, all right? So I just want to kind of throw that out there and give you kind of a what's what and what's coming up in the near future with the Eagle Ballistics and the Eagleman Long Range Shooting School and what we teach here, and then of course the book coming out, Eagleman Wind. All right, you guys have a great day, and go out and practice reading some wind. Thanks.